Hi everyone. I just wanted to touch base with you. We had a lab class today, and so I wanted to put out a little video just to, as y'all saw today, it's going to be very difficult to get everything in that short period of time, but we will get it all in. And one of the ways we'll be able to do it is because some of the additional information that you need that that does not require hands-on doing lab tests or drawing blood. I can relay these messages through a PowerPoint presentation and quickly and easily get across that information to you that will be available on Canvas that you can go back to if you forget something that I said and what did this mean. You can always go back and look at this, but we can spend more time in our lab actually doing lab tests and drawing blood, and then when you have time, since you only have to be with me that one Monday, you can spend a little bit of time watching these videos and listening to this other information. So today I'm going to go over some things that we didn't get a chance to really go over in our lab class today. First, we ran short and I didn't get a chance to give you the printed out copy of the syllabus, but there is one online that you can always pull up and look at. And here is some information right off the bat that if you need it before then is important to you. And then I do have your copies and I'll have them. I know that things are going to go much smoother next Monday on the check-in part, so we won't lose so much time in the beginning. And I'll have all the stuff ready for you guys in the morning, on that next Monday morning. Okay, but a few things I just want to go over with you. So we did establish that unfortunately we didn't get to extend that time, so the lab class will be running from 8 to 10:45. But we will go straight to 10:45 because as you guys saw today, time runs away from us and we have a lot of information we need to cover. Okay, it's only on Mondays, and then the rest of your lecture class will be online. I already have the PowerPoint presentation videos for Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 up online. And we're going to go through it, but you now actually have your chapter reviews. I handed those out to you. We're going to go over those so you'll I can touch base with you on them and you can see it. So as you're watching this video, you may want to pause it. Things I want you to do is the packet of information that I gave out to you in lab on Monday with the 3 holes punched in it. I want you guys to have that stuff in front of you when you're watching this video, okay? So anyway, as on your syllabus that you will have, like I said, you have access to a copy online, and I do have one printed out and ready to give out to you next Monday. There is my information, okay? There's my email address, mshepard@bipsy.edu. I check that during my office hours every day. Now, if I don't get back to you, it may be because I am on campus. I'm on campus also on Tuesdays with a lab class and on Thursdays with a lab class. Okay, so during those times when I'm in lab, and as y'all can see, it's a kind of a long lab time, I won't be checking my email, but I usually check them before I go into class and after I get out, okay? And then, of course, during my office hours. Obviously, during COVID, there's restrictions on access to campus, so no one's going to be coming by my office, which is in the H building, in room 120. And also remember, you can't just come on campus anymore right now. So we have to have set times. So anytime you're coming on campus, you have to be okayed for that. And as you saw, you'll come into the first floor on building H. You'll have your temperature taken. You'll fill that form out. They'll put a bracelet on your arm, and then you will come up to class. And remember what I said, we don't want to be told we can't come on campus, so you want to make sure only one person is supposed to be in the elevator at a time, if at all. No loitering around in the hallways or congregate in the hallways. You need to try to, until we get in lab class, kind of stay apart from each other and always wear your mask, okay? This is just for our safety of each other while we're on campus, okay? So there's my telephone numbers, okay? If you have something to tell me, like that you're going to miss class, which I can't stress to you guys enough, you cannot miss lab class. You just can't. There's just no way to make it up, and you have to have all these labs completed to finish. Okay, so just don't miss class. But if there's something you need to reach out to me about, you're welcome to text me, email me, call me. If I don't answer, please leave me a voicemail, a brief message, who you are, what class you're in, and what you're calling about. And as soon as I get out of class or a meeting, I will call you back. Okay, so this is that information. We're going to move to the next slide, which shows my virtual office hours. Okay, so these are my virtual office hours, okay? So you'll see Mondays I'm available from 11 to 1. And if you need to briefly meet with me after lab class, we can do that. If it's just a question or explain something or show you something, I'll be glad to do that Monday after lab. Otherwise, the way we can do this, you can email me questions, comments, concerns during those times, and I will be right on my computer so I can get quickly back to you. Unless I'm talking to another student. So if I don't get back to you pretty quickly, just know that I'm with another student, and as soon as I finish with them, I'll get with you. Okay? We can schedule a virtual video conference if we need to, a Zoom type conference. You can call me on from during that time on my office phone, which goes directly to my cell. You can text me, whatever we need to do. And if you need some time outside of these hours that are listed, we can work that out, okay? You just have to touch base with me on it, okay? So there are my virtual office hours. Okay, as I talked about in class, you will need the textbook and the workbook, okay? So I hope that everyone already has the textbook. If not, I hope that you get it this week because, if you order it off of Amazon, usually you can get it pretty quickly. I'm not sure. The bookstore should have them, and the bookstore can do curbside pickup. So they can have the textbook, you can order it, and then go by there and pick it up. Okay? So you can reach out to them. Just make sure when you email them, ask them to call you and put your number that they need to contact you with on there. And look, guys, you know how it is. If somebody doesn't answer you and it's important, then you need to call them. You need to keep bugging them until you get the answer you want. If you run into too many problems, let me know. But hopefully there are students I saw with the textbook, so I hope everybody's got this because this is it's a lot of really, really good information in here. And my PowerPoint presentations for chapters 1 and 2 are already on Canvas. If you read the textbooks, chapters 1 and 2, they're companions. They go together. It reinforces. There's a lot more information in the chapters in the textbook than I can put on those PowerPoint presentations, okay? It's a lot of really good information, and if you want to be the best lab assistant you can be, the best medical assistant you can be, and frankly, guys, if you guys are looking at moving forward, and I know there's people in respiratory therapy school that may want to go on and even do more than that. If you want to go to nursing school, clinical laboratory science, any of these things, the more you learn now, the less you will have to learn then, okay? So the chapters are really good. They've got a lot of great pictures, a lot of great information, and if you really will watch those PowerPoint presentations and read these chapters along with your review guides, you will do well. And we're going to go over the review guide shortly as well. So what do you need for your class, your lab and lecture? So you're going to have that textbook, right? Then you're going to have the workbooks. Now, and this was in the instructions when it said start here and it says get a black binder, okay? So you're going to take that black binder and we're going to go over the information that I handed out to you today in lab class. So you had a big packet of paper that already had 3 hole punches in it for you. These need to be placed in your black binder, okay? And then you need to get some kind of tabs to tab them. Now the thing that's on top is dealing with your order of draw and your additives and anticoagulants that's in your tubes and the time needed to clot, okay? This stuff is going to be on test after test after test, including when you go to any certification testing for medical assistant, for lab assistant, for phlebotomy. These things aren't for nursing. These questions are on those certification exams. So it's better to learn this stuff now, okay? So you want to take, and then there's the 2 colors flower picture that just kind of helps you have a visual of what we're talking about is in order of draw. So those need to be put in your black binder. You'll have a little tab that says order of draw, so that when you're looking for your order of draw picture, your order of draw information, you'll have a tab. You can quickly flip to that area in your black binder and find that information, okay? Then the next thing you see in that packet that I handed out to you today is Allied Health 209, Chapter 1, Introduction to Laboratory and Safety Training. These are your review guides, okay? So if you take these review guides and you have them in front of you as you're watching the PowerPoint presentations and reading your textbook, you will be able to fill in these questions, okay? Like the first question is, why are laboratory tests ordered, okay? What are the 3 general ways to analyze a specimen? All the answers to every one of these study guide questions is on the PowerPoint presentation on Canvas for Chapter 1 and in Chapter 1 of your textbook, okay? And you'll notice, okay, there is a chapter review for each and every chapter that we will go through, okay? All right, so you need to put these in the black binder, and you need to have tabs by each one of them. Tabs for Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and so forth and so on, okay? So you want to have that really well organized. And so then when you get to the end of the chapter reviews, okay, you will also have study guides, okay? You'll have a final practical exam study guide, okay? You'll have a final lab exam study guide that has really good pictures on it, okay? So if I remember, like today when I was lecturing in lab, I told you, if I give you a picture of something, will you be able to tell me what it is? So there's study guides for that, okay? So you want to put all your chapters in order, okay? And then also there is you'll find it is a Quiz 1, Profiles and Panels Study Guide. Now, this is the questions, like we talked about today. Name 4 tests in electrolyte panel, electrolyte profile, or electrolytes. And you'll see the answer for that is sodium, potassium, chloride, and bicarbonate, right? Okay, so, and they go all the way to the back page with the last question being, what is another name for a chemistry panel? Okay, if you notice, the next piece of paper in your packet is that Quiz 1, Profiles and Panels, but it's blank. This is the test you're going to get. You're going to get that. I'm going to hand it out to you. You're going to write your name on it, and then you are going to need to write down all 11 tests in the renal panel, all 14 tests in the comprehensive metabolic panel, and on and on. So take that study guide for that Quiz 1, Profiles and Panels, and study it. If you have access to a copy machine, if you can go up to your local library and make a few copies, you can use this practice test as a way to practice writing down all those to make sure that you get them all right, okay? So guys, that freaks a lot of people out. They get that one piece of paper and all those blanks, and they have to fill them in. That's a lot of memorization. Get on that right now, studying that, okay? Then you have your study guide for Quiz 2, which is 2 colors for common wave test. So if you're drawing a hematocrit or a hemoglobin, those are both going to be in purple tops. So make sure if you're drawing a SED rate or ESR, that's in a purple top. PT or PT, INR, light blue. Start studying this now, okay? We have another one of the flower pictures. Okay, you got a study guide for Quiz 3, study guide for quiz 4, okay? So make sure that you put all this in order, okay? Put it in your book, okay, and tab it so that you have everything you need. And like I said, okay, if you will take these review guides and as you're watching the PowerPoint presentations, answer the question and read your text that goes along with it, study these study guides, you're not going to have any problems. Okay, now, if you have your workbook, you can get that out right now while we're talking. And I'm going to get you to turn to page 1. Okay, what I want you to do with these laboratory pages is I want you to work them. These are additional things that are going to help you learn this stuff. Like the first thing on page 1 is part of chapter 1 on Introduction to Laboratory and Safety Testing. And it's going to ask you questions and you're going to have the answer to them. It's a great way to study, okay? Okay, also turn to page 6 in your workbook and you'll see a picture of some goggles, a face shield, your lab coat, gloves. These are just ways for you to learn what this equipment is and to be able to list it out. Like it says on question 45, list 3 methods to sanitize hands. Hint, each uses a different cleanser. Okay? So these are just things that you should be able to answer. Okay? And the answers to these questions, like I said, are in your textbook, on your PowerPoint presentations. Okay? And these work pages are just a really good way for you just to be able to practice this stuff over and over and see if you're getting the correct answer. There is a OSHA bloodborne pathogen quiz starting at the bottom of page 9. You can take these quizzes, okay? I want you to tear them out, punch holes in them, and the chapters for each of the chapters goes in the back of your review guide. So you have chapter 1 review guides. You're going to pull out all the work pages for chapter 1, punch holes in them, put them behind your chapter 1 study guides, and then tab them. Same thing for chapter 2 and so forth and so on, okay? And make sure that when you come to lab, you do not have to bring your textbook, but when you come to lab, you need to bring your white lab manual that I handed out to you today. You need to bring your red backpack, and you need to bring your workbook if you have not already taken the workbook pages out and put them in your black binder, okay? If you've taken them out and put them in your black binder, then bring your black binder with you to lab class, okay? Now, so we've went over the first part of the syllabus, okay? There's also a tentative course calendar on that syllabus. You can access that copy of that online and look at it. And it will help you keep up with when's our first test, when's our first Canvas quiz, when do the Canvas quizzes open, when do they close. All of that stuff is on that tentative course calendar that we will take a few minutes to go over next Monday. But you can see it online now, okay? I went over with you about the paperwork that I handed out to you, your chapter reviews, study guides, and all that. And that you need to put them in a black 1-inch ring binder, and you need to tab each one of the chapters, okay? You can tear out your workbook pages, punch holes in them, and put them behind the corresponding chapter, okay? Now, like we talked about in class, you have homework, right? You have that time tourniquet homework, and you need to pull your lab pages from labs 1 through 4 that we went over today. Go back through everything we went over. Start going over that, okay? Going over that equipment, what it looks like, what's the name of it, okay? Start making sure all your check boxes are checked, right? Every box is filled in. And start looking at the examples for the charting, because we will be moving quickly, because since you're only in lab that one day on Monday, you have all the rest of the week and the weekend to be able to take the time to look through those workbook pages, not only making sure that everything's filled out and checked, but studying them and getting the hang of what that charting looks like. where your pages are, what are we going to be doing when we go back, okay? So make sure you practice your tourniquet tying. There's a lot of great YouTube videos out there to help you. And make sure you're practicing it with your gloves on, because it is much harder with your gloves than without your gloves, okay? So when you come to lab class on Monday, you will have a Ziploc bag, a big gallon Ziploc bag that you can place your paper lab coat in, okay? That'll be in your red bag. You will bring your red bag to class with you every Monday. Get familiar with what's in your red bag and keep it organized. If you take the workbook pages out of your workbook and put them in your black binder, then bring your black binder with you to lab class. If you don't tear them out and put them in the black binder, then make sure you bring your workbook to lab class with you, and always bring your white lab binder. Okay, so make sure you're organized Sunday night, okay, before you go to bed, so that you don't forget anything. You will need that black ballpoint pen. You will need 2 markers, one with the little thin tip, one with the thicker tip, okay? You will need your white lab binder. You will need your workbook pages, okay? And you will need your red backpack, okay? So please make sure on Sunday night you get all that stuff together. You're organized and ready to go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about this video or any other videos that we have on the Canvas course, please reach out to me and let me know. Remember, I have a order of draw video up that's very useful. Start watching that now. You do not want to wait to the last minute to try to cram all this information in your head at one time of what's on each one of the profiles and panels, what is each additive in each tube, where it goes, and all that. You don't want to wait till the last minute, okay? So watch that order of draw video I have online, okay? And also I have a small video on the Learning Commons, which is our library. And even though you can't just physically walk into the library, you can do an online chat with a librarian and they can help you get copies of things. You can search the databases for videos and books for the research paper that you will have to do. You can check out books and pick them up curbside, okay? They can make copies of textbooks for you if they happen to have a book on stock, and then they can get you the copies of those, curbside pickup for those copies of the textbooks. So that's it. But make sure when you come on Monday, you have the appropriate shoes, you're in scrubs, your white lab coat that I gave you in class is in the Ziploc bag, and you have it with you. You have all the supplies that you need for class. So again, watch all your videos, fill out your review guides, okay, and read your textbook chapter. And start filling out the stuff in your workbooks because it is really useful information that will help you study. Have a great day. See you next Monday.